Tracy, Dr. Ganga, Dr. Icha, Ms. Lee, Dominic, as well as respected guests and friends, fellow friends today. Myself, as well as my group, Safia, Xingyi, as well as Huiyun, will be presenting to you our campaign for Splat. And it is, as you can see on the screen, as well as on the stickers that we have on our labels, it is titled The More Than Expected Campaign. So to start off, Splat is an all-volunteer non-profit group that advocates and supports youth at risk causes in Singapore. Of this, they do so via three thrusts, almost in equal measure: education, advocacy, as well as direct work. We've conducted an analysis of Splat as an organization in terms of its environment, and these are the strengths that we come up with. Of particular importance that I would like to highlight to you is the innovative programs not offered by other organizations. This is something that we found through our research, and we realized that Splat is the only organization in Singapore that does that supports youth at risk causes and holds this innovative program called participatory exhibitions, where the audience is not just invited to visit and look at the exhibitions, but are invited to write messages of encouragement and so on and so forth. So in terms of the weaknesses, there were quite a bit of weaknesses that we identified, and these are weaknesses which we believe our campaign will be able to address. In terms of opportunities, there are three opportunities which our campaign will be focusing on. The first, obviously, is to partner with organizations that support youth at risk causes. The second is the low cost of audience outreach on social media. This will be covered on in greater detail in a bit. And the last one is to obtain skilled volunteers due to the high volunteerism rates exhibited in Singapore over the past few years. In terms of threats, the one that we would like to highlight is the fact that Splat is operating in an environment that does have a lot of other organizations that serve youth at risk causes. It's just that they support them in the form of direct work, meaning to say they work one-on-one with the youths, they provide programs. And where Splat is, if you remember in my first slide, they do advocacy, they do direct work, as well as they do public education. So in terms of our research, our target audience for this campaign is actually those aged between 18 to 35. And the reason why we chose this group is because this group possess the skills and the level of maturity that we believe is required that will help Splat to further its goals, help it to achieve its mission and help youth at risk causes in general. And in addition, we actually found out through our research that the age group of 18 to 35 has the highest rates of volunteerism as seen in a survey done by the National Volunteer and Philanthropy Centre in 2012. So we conducted primary research with 151 respondents via convenience sampling, and of which 43% of them were males, 53% of them were females. What we found was that 96.7% of them have not heard of Splat before as an organization. And this is something which our campaign obviously will address. We also found that the term "gone to jail" is actually, what Splat has done is to talk about youth at risk and ex-youth offenders as two separate groups. However, in our research, we found that people associate the activity of actually having gone to jail under the same category as youth at risk. So it is one of our recommendations for Splat to actually subsume the term ex-youth offenders under youth at risk and use just that singular term youth at risk for any subsequent communications, so as to present a more professional as well as an image which is less prone to misunderstanding by the target audience. So what we also found was that social media was the top choice in terms of communication, which our target audience would like to receive messages from Splat from, followed by TV and official website, and lastly print media. In terms of this chart, what we're looking at is these two figures: culinary, food, as well as performing arts. And what this results was obtained when we asked respondents about what types of activities they would be interested in participating in support of youth at risk. So based on culinary, food, as well as performing arts, these are activities which we will be incorporating into our campaign, which you will see in just a bit. So past communication efforts by Splat have, this is an example of the participatory exhibition which I was just mentioning to you. So there is a description of this particular individual, and people who go to the exhibition are encouraged to write messages of encouragement to this particular youth at risk. And in the end, these messages will be passed on through Splat to youth at risk to encourage them. So Splat has also produced DVDs on youth at risk, and over the past, since its creation 8 years ago, Splat has obtained 20 media mentions to date, but we have found that there is a lack of a structured communications framework because Splat has only sent out one press release so far. So the problem? Splat wants to be known as the voice of youth at risk in Singapore. However, since its establishment 8 years ago, Splat has received only 20 media mentions. Splat also wants to run its operations with a minimum of 20 executive level management volunteers. However, they currently only have 12. So this is why we are proposing the More Than Expected campaign. And the positioning statement for Splat to take throughout all its communications will be to be known as the voice of youth at risk in Singapore. The message is to believe that youth at risk can achieve more, which is why it leads to this particular this sticker that I have here on my label, More Than Expected, using the colours for Splat's corporate team, as well as changing the O in the more word to the heart and the hands, which is also part of Splat's logo. One more thing to highlight is there's more to youth at risk. This will be our slogan for that More Than Expected campaign. Now there are 3 objectives as well as the goal that we want to achieve. The first objective that we have for knowledge is to achieve, to increase awareness of Splat from 3.3% to 70% among our target audience by the end of February 2015. In terms of attitude, we want to achieve a positive attitude towards volunteering with Splat by 40% by the end of June 2015. And in terms of behavioural objective, we want to recruit at least 100 new volunteers for Splat by the end of this campaign, which is June 2015. Overall, all these three objectives will lead to are meant to achieve this goal, which is to increase public awareness of Splat as an organisation serving youth at risk causes. So in terms of the communication strategy, we have proposed 3 different strategies, 1 communication strategy and 2 action strategies. The first communication strategy is using tying up on Splat's strengths, which is the innovative programs, to deal with the weaknesses which we've identified, which is an ineffective social media presence and a lack of awareness by the target public. Therefore, we will use social media and earned media to overcome the low awareness of Splat and its activities. Action strategy 1, we will use the same strength, which is innovative programs, to deal with the threat of limited funding as well as the oversaturation of other social organizations dealing with youth at risk causes. As such, the action strategy will be to increase the awareness of Splat and youth at risk causes by highlighting their public education programs and advocacy efforts so as to distinguish themselves from other similar groups in Singapore. Lastly, the action strategy number 2 will be to deal with the weakness, which is the lack of awareness by Splat's target public and the lack of sustained visibility, as Splat only holds 1 major event a year, in order to deal with the threat of distinguishing itself from other similar organizations, as I mentioned before. So as such, we will collaborate with other organizations to raise awareness of Splat and its activities. In terms of tactics, we have 5 different tactics which we are proposing. The first is the use of communication channels. The second, Splat for Youth Partnership Program. The third, public lectures. Fourth, a travelling exhibition. And the last, Spectacular Weekend. I will be covering communication channels, and then I'll pass the time over to Satya, who will go through Tactic 2 and 3, as well as Sing Yi will cover through Tactic 4 and 5. So the first thing under communication channels is what we are proposing is a redesign of Splat's current website. Splat's current website, through an analysis, we found that Splat's current website is, it has not ideal user navigation. There is a lot of chunky words plugged together, and that is not optimized for the web, which is why we are suggesting the use of this new website, where these are the tabs on top which make it very clear, and the addition of an additional tab called Youth at Risk, which provides a definition of youth at risk, which we found through our research was lacking in Splat's original website. A social media editorial calendar will also be implemented. This editorial calendar will be based on posting 2 times a week at these timings and on these days. And all these recommendations are based on prior studies on the best practices of Facebook as well as social media. These are some examples of type of content that we propose Splat utilize in their Facebook page in order to drive awareness as well as to drive increased engagement. And the last part of this communication strategy is to utilize media relations. As I mentioned before, Splat has only sent out 1 press release to date, and this is why we actually have come up with a brand guide for Splat, which Splat can use for all its future communication efforts to present a professional image to the people that it's communicating with, as well as we have proposed, we have drafted out templates for press releases which Splat can use for any other future campaigns. Now I'll pass the time on to Safia, who will talk about the other thing.
Okay, thank you, Keith. So the first activity I will be talking about is the Splat for Youth Partnership Program. There will be two types of partners for this program, the hands-up and the hands-on. So the hands-up partners will be supporting through monetary and in-kind and venue sponsorships, and the hands-on partners will be contributing to training and mentorship in terms of skills and interests. So both of these type of partners will be together supporting the youth at risk, social acceptance of youth at risk. So we have listed a few possible partners, but we are highlighting three today. A possible venue partner will be Scape. For corporate monetary sponsorship, HSBC is a possible one, and for grants we identified Trailblazer Foundation. So Scape is a youth focused space. HSBC, we would like to pitch Splat to, as it is in line with HSBC's corporate social responsibility program. They have previously identified interest in wanting to channel funds in more long-term programs, initiatives which last more than 3 years to maximize impact. And Trailblazer funds initiatives which help disadvantaged youths and children, but is previously untapped by Splat, so we suggest these three possible partners. And Splat can use this brochure to, when they are approaching these sponsors. So for the hands-on partners, they will be picking on selected youth areas through mentorship and training. So there are the skills partners and the interest partners. The skill partners, these partners will take on youth areas to go through training and mentorship. For example, Better Barista, they are already having a training program to train barista skills and latte art. Weekend Worker, they are Ceramics Collective. And Time General, they are a platform for crafts in Singapore. So we identified, and for the interest partners, Old School is a social enterprise. They take on low-income youths and give them opportunities for employment. And Theatre Practice is a theatre group. Yeah. So all of these partners have been chosen because they have previously shown support for youth at risk causes. For example, Thyroid General Company, they held a workshop for the public, and this proceeds went to youth at risk causes. So this will be the posters that will be put up at the partner locations to publicize these workshops and invite public to come for a workshop that will be organized after the youths have gone through training. These workshops are open to the public, and they will be facilitated by the mentors and the youth at risk. So it gives the opportunities to the youths to feel confidence and increase their self-esteem, to show public what they have learned, and at the same time it brings public interest, public who are interested in crafts, to come and do something together with the youth. So these are posters for the barista workshop and the leather craft workshops. And yeah, there's a poster that will be placed at the partner locations. So next there will be the travelling exhibition, which is extension of the current exhibitions which Splat already has done, but we are increasing amplifying the impact. We are combining the few posters that Splat already has in its inventory. So a possible partner venue will be at NUS. NUS is a likely sponsor because NUS mission is to change the way people think and do through service, learning and research. And in the youth at risk course is something that is not really done before in Singapore. So to add on, the founders of Splat are also NUS alumni. So it's very likely that NUS might be able to give a venue sponsorship to Splat. Okay. Yes.
Obviously taken when I was very much younger.
Okay, so the third tactic that we have is public talks. Okay, besides Dominic, we have 3 other speakers that we are proposing. These talks will be held at tertiary institutes like NUS, Nanyang Poly, Poly. Okay, we are going to have 3 themes also for the public talks. What has been done for youth ferries in Singapore, why youth ferries need our help, and what can be further done. So let me introduce the speakers. They are Ellen Chu, Darren Tan, and Kim Wai Kee. Ellen Chu is founder of 7th Street. She speaks a lot for the cause of youth. And Darren Tan and Kim Wai Kee, they are ex-convicts. Together they founded Beacon of Life, and they train and mentor youths who are hanging out on the street and give them leadership skills and social skills beside that. Yeah. So we are planning to propose this talk through existing speaker series already held in tertiary institutes. For example, the NUS Alive. NUS Alive holds talks which are talking about inspiring causes, and they are especially open to alumni, like Dominic is an alumni of NUS. So the objective of these talks is to inspire the audience to believe in a cause and push for a cause. So we find that it's a perfect match for Splat to talk at this kind of speaker series. So next I'll pass on the time to Sini to talk about Splat.
So thank you, Satya. So after you have heard all the previous tactics, this will be the last and final tactic that we will be having, and this will be the finale event of a spectacular campaign that we held over 1 year. So for those public who have not attended any of the events previously, they will be able to get in one single snapshot all the events that have occurred over the period of 1 year. So this 2-day special carnival will be held on the 27th and 28th of June 2015, and they will consist of what you would expect from a normal carnival and more than what you would expect from the people. Yeah. So there will be food, talks, performances, of course. So let's see. Over here, this will be the spectacular weekend. There will be carnival, there will be partners, there will be booths set up. So I'll be going into that later. So first up, we have the performances. As mentioned by Safia before, we partner up with Old School and also theatre practice. So over here, there will be a special choreographed event whereby they will start up an event opening act for both days. And this is to raise Splat's profile and also further its causes, because it will showcase the youth talent as well. In addition, we propose that Splat to cooperate and co-organize the event with Adrenaline, who is a social enterprise event organizer, and therefore this event will be special in a way that it will be organized by Youth at Risk for Youth at Risk. So the second up, we have competitions to hype up the event, so to create a climax for the campaign, for the spectacular weekend itself. So in this competition, we will be having graffiti competition and also latte art competition, whereby the panel of judges will include members of the public and also the partner organizations that are involved in spectacular weekend. So youths will pit their skills against one another and showing their potential for the public to see. Next up, we have booths and demonstrations. So over the period of 1 year, we have partnered with many organizations. So we will be inviting them to set up stalls and booths during spectacular weekend itself, so that they can sell their wares. And in addition, the youth service will be the youth service will have a demonstrating booth beside all these partner organizations to showcase their creative process through photos, through a real life demonstration of, like for example, ceramic making and all the rest of the events. So this will be able to attract the public over. And they will be having a mini talk. As mentioned by Safia before, public talks were conducted over a course of 1 year, and we are going to bring the speakers all together to set up mini talks, and we are hoping to invite back the speakers like Darren Tan Dominic, and also Eileen Chu. If not, there will be other potential speakers that will be in our report itself, whereby you can consider. So this one will be a special lineup event that we will be having, which is a heart-shaped wall mural. So in this mural, this is inspired by Splat's logo, whereby they have the hand in the heart. So we are hoping that through this, we will be inviting the public to show their support and significance of by putting their handprint on the heart itself to show their support for Splat. youth at risk causes. Sorry. So in addition, we will also be having something that will hype up the event, which is photo booth, and this will tie in nicely with our social media campaign, whereby the youth at risk will have a foam hand, like that, whereby they will raise it up in support for, the public will raise it up in support for youth at risk, and they will take photo and post it on their social media channels. So from this, we can actually expand our awareness of Splat and its causes to the social media channels of those public who attend the event itself. Okay, so for the run-out of the event is the finale, so there will be a run-out of events that will lead up to the final climax of the spectacular weekend. So we will be having more posts on social media that will remind the public and interest them in joining the youth at risk, joining spectacular weekend, which supports youth at risk causes. And there will be posters, flyers placed at partner organizational locations and booths, as well as our public talks and during the travelling exhibition. So this, we will be also having the program booklet, which we will include in our campaign booklet itself, plan book itself. So this will have the timing of when the events will happen, inclusive of the workshop, the performances. Next, we will be moving on to the timeline. As you can see, the campaign will start in 2014 in June. We will start with, firstly, the website engagement. We will revise and revamp the website so that it optimizes the information flow to the target public itself, which will be followed by a continuous social media engagement throughout. And we will have filler events like travelling exhibition, public lecture series, which will keep Splat and youth at risk causes at the top of the mind of our target public. So the events will continue and will lead up to the final one, which will occur on the 27th and 28th of June. So this is our campaign budget, and it will be distributed, and most of the amount will be going to spectacular weekend and the activities itself. So it will be amounting to $2,177. So following that, now that we have all our activities being tied up, we will be evaluating on the effectiveness of our activities and the tactics. So to assess whether the audience have gained knowledge, to assess whether we have reached our objective of having 70% of those public who are aware of Splat and its events, we will be having surveys, and also we will be looking at Facebook likes, whether there is, we are hoping for a 400 increase in both Facebook likes and also Twitter followers on social media engagement. This is to show that Splat has actually gained knowledge that the people actually know about this, and they join and follow Splat on social media. Next, there will also be brochures and flyers given out. So we are hoping that the public will be taking away 800 brochures and also 1,000 flyers to gain knowledge of what Splat is about, because on the brochure itself there will be information on Splat, and also on the flyers itself there will be activities that Splat has done and will do. So to evaluate the tactic, to find out whether the public has an increase in positive attitudes towards Splat by 40%, we will be conducting focus group surveys, and we will also be taking a look at the mailing list. So for the focus group, we will be asking on the campaign itself whether they have received whether they know of the logo, the message, and whether it's effective to them. And in addition, for the mailing list, we will be looking at those who have signed up for Splat's mailing list to keep them in track of what Splat ongoing event will be having. So finally, our behavior, which is the most straightforward one, we are hoping to gain at least 100 new volunteers for Splat, new skilled volunteers for Splat itself. And one thing to note is that our campaign itself does not radically change the current way of Splat is operating, but we aim to increase the visibility of Splat and its causes through our current program, through our campaign. So we propose that Splat can assign at least one person to be in charge of Splat's communication management. And in charge of the direct mailers that will be sent to those who have signed up for Splat's mailing list. So we'll be moving on. Tiff will be tying up the campaign.
Thank you, Sydney. So, based on all the different tactics that we've talked about, the different recommendations, different strategies that we have proposed, we believe that these tactics, these strategies will be effective and will be able to achieve the goals as well as the objectives that we set out at the start of this presentation. So, with that, this is the website that we have created. It is a prototype. It's not exactly fully up, but the main idea of the website as well as the certain elements of the design are already there. So if you like, you can actually access this on your mobile devices. That's it. Now.
Do you have any questions, Johnny? Do you have any questions for them? Do you have any comments for them?
Comments. So first off, yes, I would like to both thank and apologize to the team. Thank them because they've done an amazing job. I told my colleagues at Splat that whatever comes out of today's presentation, we will adopt it wholesale and we will do it. I think that's why we ask consultants for help, because that humility to learn is very important, and I stand humbled by what they've done. And my colleagues and I will adopt this lock, stock, barrel from start to finish, so thank you very much. I would also like to apologize to them because Splat is an all-volunteer movement, so more frequently than ever, we have not been prompt in replying them. Keith frequently has to chase us, not one of us, but a few of us, and then we get together and say, Keith is chasing us, we should reply him quickly. So despite that very tight timeline that we gave them stuff, that they've been able to come up with this has been entirely amazing, and I think it speaks really well of what they've done, so thank you very much. Yeah, I don't have questions at the moment. I'm sure that when we get to the dirty of implementing this wholesale, we will have many questions, and I hope that then the wheels of feng shui will change and you will put up with our constant chasing and asking you for help. Yes, so before I leave, I just have one quick comment. This is more like a job offer, so give me 1 minute to say for you. I've recently been seconded from my full-time job at the National Council of Social Service to help Emeritus Senior Minister Goh Chok Tong set up a new VWO in Marine Parade. I'm looking for someone to do communications for me. I pay very competitively, somewhat better than the public service, who can really manage the whole spectrum of communications through from planning to implementation and evaluation. So if any of you is considering a job with a difference that rewards both your heart, your soul, and your stomach, please drop me an email and I'll be glad to explore possibilities. Alright, so thank you very much. Yes, the new VWO. So Splat's all volunteer movement. That's the one that feeds my soul. The new VWO I'm setting up feeds my stomach. So it's an entirely new VWO that I'm setting up to really promote asset-based community development and volunteerism within Marine Parade. It's a very new concept. So we're looking for comms people. You know, I have policy background so every time policy makers are seconded to start something, our publicity materials are very chunky, very wordy, then nobody really reads what we write anyway. So we acknowledge that we need someone who's good in comms, and I think that every expert was once a novice, so I'm more than glad to take fresh grads to come over.
Studying time, anytime?
Anytime.
Are you applying?
Would you like to volunteer?
Just thinking, I think half the class, or 3/4 of the class are graduating
Yes, right?
this semester, and I think 3/4 of the class do not have a job.
So I just want to keep this open because for those who are graduating, more than glad to explore possibilities. For those who are not, I believe that talents are worth waiting for. So if you are only graduating in 6 months' time, I will wait out the harvest for good talent. Alright?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. And goodbye, young. So we'll take that with them.
Okay.
Alright, thank you
so
guys.
much.
Thank you.